A bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers making an official trip to China later this month for the first time since 2019. Washington Democrat Adam Smith is leading the charge. This comes a week after leaders of China, Russia, and North Korea met in Tiananmen Square to observe Beijing's massive military parade. I want to bring in Texas Congressman Lance Gooden. He's a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, your reaction to these Democratic lawmakers deciding they want to go to China, especially after that display that we just saw?
It seems a little bit like a waste of time to me. I saw what you saw in the press about it. I'm on the committee. I wasn't invited. I wouldn't go if I was. I find it also very interesting that the chairman of the committee is not participating. So I suspect this will be like a typical tour of North Korea or name your similar country where nothing really gets accomplished, and it's probably more of a win for the home country than it is for America.
So this is going to make China look good. This is going to make Xi Jinping get more, social media kudos, right?
I suspect if there's something to exploit, they'll exploit it quite well, as they always do.
Absolutely. And that is why, that display we saw with, with Putin and the limousines and Kim Jong-un and then Narendra Modi in there was just, I thought was egregious and just a veiled attack on the U.S. From a social media perspective anyway. So we'll see what this trip brings forth. The Department of Justice did announce federal charges against a Carlos DeJuan Brown Jr. We were just talking about this, Congressman. This is that deadly Charlotte train stabbing of Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska. Now, AG Pam Bondi is vowing to seek the maximum penalty. FBI Director Kash Patel says federal action is needed to stop repeat offenders. President Trump says he's sending federal help now to another struggling city with regards to crime. Listen to this.
We're going to be announcing another city that we're going to very shortly. We're working it out. The governor of a certain state would love us to be there, and the mayor of a certain city in that same state would love us to be there. We'll announce it probably tomorrow, and it's going to be something where we'll do like we did here.
The governor of a certain state would welcome it. Louisiana, Congressman, what do you think?
I think it's Louisiana. The only thing I'm not so sure of is whether or not the mayor of that certain city, New Orleans, would like having them there. But it's not going to be up to her. And I'm so happy to hear about this. New Orleans is a great city that has really been run down with these Democrat policies that are pro-crime. They're soft on crime. And Governor Jeff Landry in Louisiana is working closely with President Trump, and I do believe we'll be very pleased with what happens after this. And I hope it's a model for some of these other cities who have mayors that are perhaps too proud to admit they have a problem. As you said earlier on your program, you've got Karen Bass in California who stands up for the illegals and the criminals before the citizens while her city goes down the drain. The same is the case in Chicago, and soon to be even worse in places like New York. So I don't understand, if the federal government is willing to send help, why you wouldn't accept it. We have seen it work here in Washington, and the local mayor here, yes, she has taken some hits from her far-left Democrat colleagues and supporters around the nation. But if you really got her honest, she would say that the city is a better place, and she's grateful to President Trump for it.
No, and Ashley Davis with me, and she was saying the same thing about Washington, and it's just, things are just better. And by the way, that soundbite from President Trump, he went out to dinner in Washington, D.C., about a block from the White House, to show how nice D.C. can be when it's not got, criminals running all over the place and carjackings left and right.
Yeah. I wasn't afraid to walk last night and looking over my shoulder like I normally am here. So it's been really nice, and I hope it keeps up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Ashley and I both want to talk to you about this next topic, because obviously the government shutdown is looming. We've got 8 legislative days to go to avoid any government shutdown. So the White House is now asking Congress to extend the deadline to January 31st. That's 4 months. Now, this is on the heels of a 21-page list of funding anomalies detailing programs the administration says need different spending levels in the upcoming stopgap bill. Congressman, what can you tell us?
Well, I found out about this late last night. Some of my colleagues had not even heard that the White House was proposing January 31st. You've got appropriators who feel as if this process has been taken away from them with these continuing resolutions that keep coming. But when I hear folks say we need less time, we need a continuing resolution that ends in Thanksgiving or Christmas because we need more time to negotiate, I have seen these folks try to negotiate for so long and come up with nothing that I'm not so sure that more time is what they need. I think they need leadership, And unfortunately, since I've been in Congress, I have found that the best leadership comes from the White House when Donald Trump is president. And so I think you'll see him get more involved in the coming days. But I do believe that Democrats are going to have to step up and negotiate. They're saying crazy things, like we're going to need to roll back some of these presidential policies that they hate. There's just no scenario where we're going to do that. There's no scenario where the American people want to go back to the policies where the borders are open and their streets are even less safe than they are today. And so I think that you'll see this Congress come together in the coming weeks. Democrats will probably kick and scream and not be happy with the final product. But at the end of the day, I don't believe our government will shut down, and President Trump will lead us continuing into prosperity and safety and security.
Well, they've got their own agenda. Ashley Davis is with me. Ashley, go ahead.
Well, Lance, you know as well as I do. First of all, nice to see you.
Good to see you.
I wish I was in D.C. with you at the moment. But so this is what I'm hearing. And what do you think? November 20th, clean CR, which is what Thune's asking for. No anomalies because of all the ACA Obamacare subsidies that are expiring. So that's what I'm hearing is the sticking point, which is why maybe we do it right before Thanksgiving. But I agree with you. I'm too jaded about this whole process. It's a disaster.
Yeah. Well, no member of Congress wants to be here over Thanksgiving or Christmas, frankly.
Or
And
we don't either.
Especially if it's something that could be taken care of now. And so I don't know. I think the appropriators, we may perhaps pass a portion of the appropriations bills in the coming weeks. We'll see how, and I say weeks, I mean days. In the next week, we'll see how it turns out. But I could see a scenario if we got to January 31 where we potentially have this passed as early as next week, but that's ambitious.
Real quick before you go, Congressman, so I was looking at the list of anomalies, and there's one request is a D.C. fix, which allows D.C. to spend over $1 billion of its locally raised tax revenue. Another is higher funding for SNAP nutrition assistance programs.
Yeah, you know, the White House is not out of touch with the American people, contrary to what Democrats say. The president absolutely wants needy families who are deserving of aid to have that. The president realizes that perhaps there are issues that need more funding and that need more attention, which is why I think you'll see a very positive response to some of the things that he's proposing. It's very difficult for Democrats to criticize the president for wanting to increase SNAP funding, for wanting to increase funding for D.C. I have a hard time believing that the mayor of D.C. is going to get out there and be critical of this ask that helps her city.
Absolutely. And she's definitely changed her tune. We'll leave it there. Congressman Lance Gooden, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.